Thank you very much, and sorry for the inconvenience. So, again, greetings from Germany, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to give you a brief insight into the relationship of our bank, KfW, and the German government. But before I start, I want to tell you a short story and therefore beam you in the year 2000, please. I would invite you to come with me to the year 2000. We have October the 1st, and it was a typical autumn evening in Germany, which is not a nice evening. It's dark, we have damp air, and the trees were also losing their leaves. And Mr. Schneider and his wife, they got out of their car. They had just arrived and parked their car in a district in Frankfurt, here in Germany, where all the important banks of Germany are located. Mr. Schneider checked if he was at the right place, and he searched for the building, and he searched for an illuminated name of the bank. But all he could see in his surroundings were dark buildings, no big name, no entrance hall, nothing. So he frowned a little bit because he recently got a job offer from KfW to become managing director of human resources in one of the leading banks, which is KfW. And also he was at the right address. There was no huge building, no signs of the bank, nothing. So he got a little bit closer to one of the buildings, and then he saw a little and tiny plate, and on that plate was written KfW. So why am I telling the story? It's a story because it symbolizes for me how promotional banking has changed in the last 20 years. 20 years ago, we did our job silently, pretty much under the radar. But in my opinion, beginning with the financial crisis, the importance of public banks and promotional banks grew bigger and bigger. And as Diana stated before, during the COVID crisis, in Germany, we did so much lending as never before. And I think with all the problems governments are facing worldwide now, digitalization, climate crisis, as Diana stated before, public and promotional banks are more important than ever. And they are an important vehicle for government to implement their politics. So for the next few minutes, I will show you how we in Germany and at KfW work together with the government, what our politics are and what our strategics are. So KfW is a state-owned bank. Our shares, the Federal Republic owns 80% of our shares, and the remaining 20% are held by the federal states. KfW is, there are two principles which are pretty important for KfW. First of all, it is a guarantee. So the Federal Republic guarantees all existing and future obligations of KfW in respect of money borrowed and bonds issued. And since we are issuing bonds at around 90 billion per year, this is a very important thing for us to have those guarantees. And the second thing is we have institutional liability, which means that the Federal Republic has to safeguard our economic basis. Those two principles are laid down in the KfW law, and also in this law is laid down what our structure, our governance, and our scope of activities could be and should be. If you look at the next slide, you get an impression how the year 2021 was. We had new business at about 107 billion euros. And as you can see here, our main area is a domestic promotional business, which was about 80 billion euros. Then we had export and project finance throughout the whole world at about nearly 14 billion euros. And then we also had development finance, which was about 10 billion euros, also throughout the whole world with all the developing countries we're working together. And our main aspects are loans. Sometimes we give a little bit grants, and sometimes we're doing a little bit equity investments, but most of the things we are dealing with are loans. And as Diana stated also before, the topic SDG is very important to us. We have a sustainability strategy in our company, and this sustainability strategy defines our business strategy. And as part from this, we have mapped all our products to the SDGs, and therefore doing the business like we're doing it, and it's a very important thing for us. At this slide, you can see our promotional highlights in 2021. On the left-hand side, a building a program we have, and you can see the commitments we gave there, about 40 billion euros, which is a lot. We are in the educational business area. We are also, as I said, in the development area on the right side with a regional focus on Africa, Middle East and Asia. And what is also very important for us is our one of our subsidiaries, KfW Capital, which is in the venture capital area and does equity investments. And you can see they did commitments of 500 million euros in the last year. So this is a little insight in the promotional business in the last year. If we come to the supervision of KfW, we have a two-pillar supervision. First of all, we have to comply with all the key banking rules here in Germany. And for this, we are supervised by the BaFin, which is a German regulator. And on the other hand, with all other applicable law, we are on the legal supervision of the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Economic Affairs. So these two pillars are the things for our supervision which we have. And with respect to this, we are working closely together with the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Economic Affairs. If I come to the corporate governance we have a typical corporate governance structure. We have an executive board with at the moment 5 members of the board. Next year we will have 6 members, 3 are female and 3 are male. Here you can see 5 of them. The 6 will join, as I said, in next year's, and it's a typical structure. So each member of the board has a different special area in which for which he or she is responsible. This is pretty much as in every other bank in the world, as far as I know. But if you look at the board of supervisory directors and committees, which is a kind of advisory board, it's different to other banks. The committees are pretty much the same than other banks have. We have a procedural and nomination committee, a remuneration committee, a Reddit and risk committee, and an audit committee. But if you look at our board, this is different. Why is it different? We have 37 members, not only 10 or 12, but 37. This is also laid down in our law. We have so-called born members, which are federal ministers, and we have chosen members. And those members are chosen by the German parliament, and they should represent the banks, industry, municipalities, agriculture, etc. And the idea behind that is that the whole of the German society should have a voice in our supervisory of directors, and that's a good thing. And this reflects pretty much our business model and why we're here in Germany and why we should try to improve Germany and part of the world. For the last slide, you get an impression how our day-to-day business with the ministries and is about. We receive budgetary funds and we receive guarantees, most of all from the Ministry of Finance. And with this money, we are trying to give a lot of grants and loans, mainly loans, to all our business areas. And for this thing, we are working together mainly with the Ministry of Economic Affairs, with the Ministry of Economic Cooperation Development, and all the other ministries you can see here. So we're working closely together with all of the ministries. We are trying to improve new programs. We're trying to improve new products with them, and all. And the main thing is we are doing that in the way the ministry wants us to do it. And on the right side, you can see in which programs we get budgetary funds. And here are some of the most important examples for us. And on the slide, on the right side of the slide, you can see that in some cases we also get guarantees when we have to do special assigned tasks. So, for example, now dealing with the war, we gave a huge global loan to the Ukraine, and for this, because the risk of the loan is too tough for us, the Federal Ministry of Finance gave us a guarantee so we can bring that loan to the Ukraine. And for this, we have a special assigned task which a government can give to us. So that was the brief insight from my side. I hope you got an impression how we are dealing with the government and how we try to help building a progressive future here in Germany, of course, but also in the world when we are dealing with other things we are dealing with. So thank you from my side, and looking forward to hearing your questions later.